Yo guys, what is going on? Blossom's back, and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives and another edition of Winners and Losers. This is the Lamborghini Update edition, almost said rendition, but I guess that works too, edition, and obviously there were some winners and losers. Now, as a veteran player, I think the things that I care the most nowadays aren't even the new cars. Like, okay, great, the bunch of new legendaries added on this update. What are the odds that I can even get any of them? You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be soon. But what is going to directly affect my garage right in the here and now are going to be those changes in, you know, whether it be RQ changes or stat changes or any kind of balancing things. So those are one of the most interesting things for a player like me, and probably for, you know, you guys as well, especially if you're more on the veteran side. So today we're going to dive into the winners and losers of update 24, and I guarantee you right now there's some really painful ones that we will talk about very soon. I mean, it's in the thumbnail, man. They killed the Charger, and it's very sad. But anyway, without further ado, guys, I'm going to turn off my camera, and we're going to get into the winners and losers of update 24. Okay, we're going to start off with our first winner. It's the Mercedes-Benz E500, almost at 500, E55 AMG. It got an MRA buff. It went from 79 MRA in the previous update to 85. Now, all the photos that you will see here on the left are going to be the current in-game photos. These are the update 24 photos with updated stats already, if there are any on a car. Obviously, this is just an MRA change, so you won't see any updated statistics, but the MRA has gone up from 79 to 85. In the grand scheme of things, though, not that big of a difference. It's still losing on the drags to the Mercedes AMG S65s and the S63s. One little change, though, is that, you know, in terms of all the Mercs over here, as you can see on the right, the E55 is the best on city streets medium, and that's because it handles better than the S65, all the S classes. But that being said, though, it's still, you know, although it has the MRA increase, it is still not the best dragster among those cars. So yes, it is a winner, but not a big winner. Just slight little upgrades, right? Moving on to our first loser. Big loser, this one. It's the Lamborghini Diablo VT. Now, if you don't know which Diablo, because all the Diablos got photo changes, if you don't know which Diablo is in question, I got the older photo here. As you can see, it's the black one that used to be a legendary. How far this little thing has fallen. The MRA has decreased from 105 to 82.35, making it useless. I mean, it used to be a great dragster, especially if I wanted to use it in the wet. Yeah, it's useless now. I feel scammed. I have this car fully upgraded because I wanted to utilize that 105 MRA, and I can't utilize it anymore, and I don't get my fuses back. It's a shame. This thing is terrible now. Just to give you a nice little comparison, it loses on the quarter mile and the half mile to the My Box, which is depressing. It even loses to the Audi R6 Avant, which is the same RQ as it, and of course is an Audi. But also it loses to the Maybachs, and the Maybachs are cheaper to use, and the only place that it wins now is a Test Bowl and the 1 mile. But yeah, this thing is just a heaping pile of crap now. Moving on to our next winner. Again, yes, it's technically a winner, but not by much. It's the Dodge Monaco. And the only reason it was because the handling increased by 4. It went from 55 to 59. Ooh, we're all going to use this one now, isn't it, for common clubs? No, we're not. RQ has also increased by 1, but yes, overall, this is a winner. I think that in this update, there are way more losers than winners, but I'm trying to keep it equal because I want to go from, you know, winner, loser, winner, loser, winner, loser. And speaking about loser, oh my goodness, what happened here? The BMW 330D Touring has escaped. I don't, let me try and fix that for y'all. Okay, we're back. Don't know what happened there, but yeah, this one, I needed to bring 2 of the photos in, you know, the PL23 and the PL24. I know some people are going to be annoyed I'm calling it PL. It's not PL, but, you know, this is a habit that isn't going to change. Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. This is an RQ decrease of 14. It went from, you know, the highest level an Ultra could get to the lowest level an Ultra could get. And the funny thing is, I don't think it deserves either of the RQ. I don't think that it was an RQ64. I thought it was a pretty terrible RQ64, and I don't think it deserves to be 50 either. The only reason why I moved down to 50 is because I couldn't move it down anymore, because Hush doesn't want to bring in that rarity change update yet, which is stupid, because with every single car update, we need that rarity change more and more and more and more. But anyway, yeah, massive change, right? Tires change. It went from standard tires to performance. The handling did increase by 2, but that isn't saying much, right? This is it's a bad car. It's got no MRI. 060 is bad. Handling is still even with the handling upgrade, it's still bad. So yeah, this is definitely a massive loser. Now moving on to another winner, which, you know, really isn't much of a winner, but this is going to be a running trend with, you know, the winners of this update. It's the Lamborghini Gallardo Spider. The MRI increased from 81.55 to 82. That is all. It went up by less than 0. It went up by 0.45, dude. It is what it is. All right, moving on. Next loser. I think that this is a loser. But okay, here's the thing. Handling cut, right? It went down by 4. It used to be 84 handling. Now it's 80. Also got a massive RQ decrease. Used to be RQ 64. And then it went down to 58. Now, the funny thing about this car was that when it was first introduced, it was RQ 59 with 84 handling. Then Hutch realized, oh, wait a minute, it's too good. So they bumped it up to 64. But then they cut the handling and brought it down to 80. And then they brought it down to 58. So we're back where we started. You know what I mean? I say that this is a loser-ish because although it got the massive handling cut, it also got a massive RQ decrease. So it's not competing against high-range ultra and medium ground clearance cars anymore. It's competing against medium range, medium RQ range, ultra ground clearance cars. And within that range, it's still good. It's got a low 0 to 60 for what it is, and the handling is still not bad. It is not what it used to be, but it's not bad. So yes, obviously it's not like one of the best, but I still think that the Mazda Attenza is still good. So loser-ish. Moving on to another winner, Lotus Elise 111R. The 0 to 60 has decreased by 0.2 from 5.1 seconds to 4.9. The MRA has also decreased from 64 to 62, and the RQ has increased by 1. But in this case, the positives outweigh the negatives. Who cares if the MRA on the Lotus decreased? It's a freaking Lotus. We're not going to put it on the drag. What matters is the 0 to 60, handling, and weight. The weight hasn't changed, the handling hasn't changed, but the 0 to 60 has improved. So in my opinion, yes, the positives outweigh the negatives. This is indeed a winner, making it a better twisty car. Moving on, Cadillac Escalade. Yeah, pretty big loser this one too. 0 to 60 has increased by 0.2%, 0.2, not percent, just 0.2. And the MRA has decreased from 59 to 53. Now this car has been known as a dragster. And, you know, obviously it got nerfed in, you know, 2 areas that makes a dragster, right? The strengths has been nerfed. MRI decrease, 0 to 60 increase. The RQ has also decreased by 1, but in this scenario, I believe that the negatives outweigh the positives, which is the RQ decrease. So it's a little cheaper to use. Who the hell cares? Moving on, another winner, Lamborghini Huracan LP580. Handling has increased by 1. MRI has decreased, but by a very small amount, 97.2 to 96.9. So the MRI has only decreased by 0.3, and the RQ has also increased by 1, which I don't think is that bad of a nerf, because I thought that this car was already pretty good as an RQ 77, and now as a 78. Granted, it got a handling buff. Makes sense. I'm okay with that. Totally okay with that. So yeah, 98 handling when you fully upgrade this car now. I think 2.998. It's got 96 MRA as well, and a top speed of over 200 when you fully upgrade it. Tell you what, this thing ain't bad. Definitely is a winner, and I am considering fully upgrading this car, honestly. Now, moving on. Oh, God. Oh, this hurts. This hurts the soul. The photo on the right speaks for itself. The Charger now loses to the El Camino. El Camino, man, you know, used to be, both these cars used to be rare. They both went up to super rare for the same reason of that they have, you know, they're great dragsters. The Camino is probably going to stay rare, but I do think the Charger is going to move back down. I mean, sorry, the Camino is going to stay super rare, but I do believe that the Charger is going to move back down to rare. It just doesn't belong here anymore, and it's sad. It's really sad. MRI decreased from 77 to 62. Hutch is probably mad that I'm, you know, posting less, and that's why they're trying to mess up my favorite car. I don't think this is warranted. I do not think that the Charger RT, you know, with its 440 6-pack Hemi engine, would produce 62 MRA. Nah, that's bullshit. Yeah, this is unwarranted. I don't know why they're shooting shots at my car like this. It's terrible. But yeah, definitely a loser. Massive, just a massive loser. Now if you want to use an RQ40 dragster, you don't use a Charger anymore. The first thing that comes to your mind now should be that El Camino SS454, which is depressing. Anyway, moving on is another winner, the Alpha 147 GTA Cub. 0 to 60 has decreased by 0.8. That is a massive decrease. MRA has increased from 55.6 to 56.8. In other words, the MRA has increased from nothing to nothing, but a shiny nothing. The RQ has also increased by 7. It went from 50 to 57. But hey, you know what made this car so special was that handling, right? 99 handling, and it kept that. So I still think that this is a winner. When you get this thing fully upgraded now, it should be about 4.599. Not too bad for a 57, not too shabby at all. Now, moving on to another loser. This one hurts as well, because I own 3 of them. It's the Porsche 911 Speedster 4.0 991.2. MRA has decreased from 92.88. Pretty big margin. Especially for a higher RQ car, and the RQ has decreased by 1. Now, an Epic getting, you know, MRA of 90 plus, and also, you know, balancing 100 handling is makes for a very good hybrid, jack of all trades, you know? 90 plus MRA, 100 handling. That isn't the case anymore. This is now, you know, sub 90 MRA with the same 100 handling. It's just not as good as it used to be. And honestly, a change like this would move it down the pecking order quite a bit. Because, you know, the competition on those higher, you know, performance tire rear-wheel drive Epic ranks are very, very, very cutthroat. So, yeah, this is a loser, and that's just unfortunate because I love this car. Moving on. Oh, God, this car just keeps winning because this is the second buff it has had in a row, and it's a Draco GTE. Now, in the last update, this car got a change because it had, I think, an MRA increase as well as a 0 to 60 decrease. It used to be 2.9, then it went to 2.6. Now, it is getting a handling increase, going from 85 handling to 87. The RQ has increased by 1, sure, but yeah, I gotta say, this thing is looking pretty damn good now, and with the handling increase, it really makes you think if you want to go 233 or 332, because this good MRA, low 0 to 60, high top speed, and now with, you know, sub okay, I would say okay handling, makes it a pretty strong fast circuit car, I would say. But yeah, again, this got a buff in PL23. It's getting a buff again in 24. Now, here's a big loser. A lot of people were complaining about this one in the comments. It's the Chevrolet Corvette IMSA GTO, right? MRA decrease. Yeah, it's a big decrease, to be fair. 121 to 105. 105 MRA is still really good, but that is a massive decrease, right? Almost 20. 121 MRA decreased to 105. The 0 to 60 has also decreased by 0.2, so it went from 3.2 seconds to 60 to 3 seconds. So some people might say, hey, Blossom, maybe this isn't a loser, right? Maybe this isn't a loser. The MRA decreased, but also the 0 to 60 decreased. It's a loser. So I have the times before the nerf, and I have the times after the nerf. Now, I only have those times because I did an overrated or overpowered, you know, the overrated overpowered series covered the Corvette IMSA GTO. So I had the 111 times there. So, you know, on Top Drive's records, you can't look at the old times. They just go away, but I have them tracked. And as you can see, it definitely got a nerf. It's slower everywhere now. So on PL24, the IMSA does the quarter mile in 10:23, and PL23 it did it in 10:15. And yeah, there's no improvements here. The IMSA is just worse in every way. So although the 0 to 60 decrease, the MRA has really hurt it. It has become a weaker dragster. So that is a loser. Here's another winner. It's a Di Tommaso Innocenti Mini Di Tommaso. Handling increased by 3. Cool. Okay, now moving on. Mazda Attenza Sport Wagon, one of the better RQ29s. Unfortunately, that isn't the case anymore. Handling has decreased by 4, so it went from 83 handling to 79, which is a, you know, massive difference, because that means that, you know, fully upgraded, it's gone from 90 plus handling to 87. RQ is also decreased by 2. Still though, 87 handling, medium ground clearance, you know, still gonna be relatively useful, but it looks like the Mazdas are getting a lot of handling decreases in this update. Here's another winner. This is a big winner, honestly. Cadillac CT4 Blackwing. Now, when this car was introduced, the ATS-V Coupe from American Dream was still seen as the premier medium ground clearance rear-wheel drive performance tire car. But now, because it had a 0 to 60, you know, the Blackwing has had a 0 to 60 decrease of 0.1. It's the better car to use now on medium car park G-force hairpin. I mean, it's gone topsy-turvy, right? That 0.1 change has made all the difference, and the Blackwing is fantastic now. The RQ has increased by 1, making it level of the ATS. But hey, tell you what, they're both 78, and there's clearly a better car here. When it comes to the faster track sets, the ATS-V is the better car out of the two. But, you know, we don't put these cars on fast track sets. We put them on city track sets. And it's still 50-50, to be fair, but I do think that this is a winner. And it is a great car to use now. I mean, it was a great car to use then, a better car to use now. Now, to our next loser. I do think that this is a loser, honestly. It's the Alfa Romeo ISIMA. It got a heaping amount of changes. The RQ has increased by 8. Went from 65 to 73. The MRA has decreased, massive decrease. We're talking like IMSA GTO levels of decrease of 112 to 84, even more than the IMSA GTO, right? 112 to 84, almost 40 MRA. Handling has increased by 4, and the 0 to 60 has decreased by 0.8, which is huge. That's almost an entire second. That being said, though, I do think this is a loser because the ISIMA used to be such a quirky car. It was such an RQ saver that was so good at one thing, the drags, right? It was fantastic on that. You know, if I wanted something to beat the BMW M5 Ultra Rare, I would look to the ISIMA on the 1 mile especially. But yeah, this isn't a specialist anymore. It's now just like every other rear-wheel drive performance tire car. Why I think this is a loser is, although it is now more suited for a fast circuit with these changes, I don't think it's going to be useful for me anymore. Seriously. I mean, think about the amount of epics that are 3.788. There are at least 10 unique epics in the game with the same 3.788. This is 3.786. It's going to be losing to all those epics. It's going to be losing to what is basically a dime a dozen. So, in my opinion, the ISIMA, nah, it's a loser. Here's another winner. It's the Porsche Cayenne Turbo 958.2. Handling has increased by 1. RQ has also increased by 1. Completely valid. And then we've got another loser. I do believe this is the last one that we're covering today. It's the Mazda 6 MPS. Handling has decreased by 4. So it's gone from 84 handling down to 80. This thing had a handling buff like a few updates ago. Went up. Now it's going back down. The RQ has also decreased by 3. So it's similar to the Attenza, but it's worse in a way because the 0 to 60 is terrible on this thing. But overall, guys, that is the Winners and Losers Update 24 edition. Now, I did not cover every single car that got a change, and I know I'm going to be missing some, but you know, that's on purpose, so you guys can talk about it in the comments as well. But anyway, guys, I'm going to turn my camera back on, and we're in for the outro. Those were the winners and losers of Update 24. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know down in the comments if you are really mad that I missed out a single car here or there. There were a couple that I missed out that I didn't want to add in. On top of my head, I think the Aventador SV got a decent buff. You know, the RQ went down, but the MRA went up, and that's kind of the case for a lot of the higher echelon Lambos in the game. But overall, you know, I'm just really freaking sad that they nerfed the Charger. That was completely unwarranted. Why? I just don't, I don't get it. But anyway, hope you guys have a great day. Remember to stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville Pontiac. Hold tight all night, cruise to Jacksonville.